Hey there everyone, it's Shelly Stearns and I'm here to talk about something exciting. Mars is about to go direct, January 12th. Mars in the sign of Gemini. So it's been in this sign for a while, since August 20th, 2022. Okay, that might not seem like very long ago, but it's actually a long time for Mars. And the reason it has been there for so long and will continue to be there until March 25th, 2023 is because it's been in a retrograde cycle. So we had Mars moving forward, then on October 30th, it went backward, and now it's about to go forward again. So what that means for us is that it's been in one sign for a long time. It's been in one area of our lives for a long time. And Mars is about what we do to get things done, how we're motivated, those outside things that agitate us. It's movement, it's power. And when it's in one area of your life, it's giving you more opportunities to explore, to play around, and to figure some things out. So this Mars retrograde cycle is coming to an important point now. This is the point where you might be feeling some anxiety or some excitement because you're feeling maybe that movement can happen. And it can, it's going to get a little easier. Please notice that we also have Mercury retrograde right now, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury, so it's important. The Mars retrograde is going to be influenced by that Mercury. So January 15th, little few days after that, things will likely release. So we've been in the retrograde, we've been going around, we've been figuring things out. And this is a time where you can take more movements, more forward momentum, and you might have a clear idea about where you're going. Now, don't stress if you don't have a really clear idea, because Gemini is involved. And that means that, well, there's always going to be two ways, at least, two different ideas, two things. And it's okay if you're following two convergent, divergent, whatever paths. And you can look at it this way. Maybe they're leading to the same goal. Maybe you're exploring options. Or maybe you have different goals that you're exploring. Maybe those goals are related, maybe they're not. Maybe they're related in ways that you actually don't understand now. So keep with the Gemini spirit, which is learning. Learn as much as you can. Talk to as many people as you can. Make those connections. Do those things. Talk. Write. Do the Gemini things, the Mercurial things. And don't be afraid to move forward, because there's some power now. There's some stuff to help us. Now, I've created a video. It's not super long, but I've spent a little bit of time for each sign to give you a little more detail about what this might mean for you. Hey there, Aries and Aries rising. This Mars retrograde cycle is about your third house. So some of the things that entails. Communication. This is really a big one. So all the ways, right? We've got spoken word, we've got written word, and think about your social media, your web presence. Whether you want to have one or not, what is it that you want that to look like or not look like, right? And as an Aries, you're really good at asserting yourself, and Mars rules you. So this is a good opportunity to get your voice out there. Of course, it's probably been a little rocky, a little weird, but when things go direct, it's going to get a little bit easier. And as an Aries, you're bound to probably offend some of the people some of the time, right? So let your communication shine. Know that this is connected because Mercury rules your third house, rules that Mars. That Mercury is in your 10th house of career. So there is a connection to your career, to how you really are putting yourself out there. So look to that. And also think about small journeys close to home. Take little travels and see what you can explore and find out near you. Your neighbors, your siblings, those close friends that are sibling-like relationships. Take them on a journey. Put them on your podcast if you have one. That would be a really good use of this energy. Hey there, Taurus and Taurus rising. This Mars retrograde cycle is about your personal resources. It's second house. So, yeah, of course, this means your money, your bank accounts, your house, your car, all those things, those tangible things, your books, your bookshelf, anything that's important to you that you own. And it's really about what is yours. So, think about those tangible things, but then also I challenge you to think about those intangibles. And those are really important because how do you feel about yourself? And how does that influence how you show up in the world? What abilities do you have? What have you worked on that's now something that's a part of you? Or what were you born with that was easier for you? All those things, those are your resources. Those are the things you can draw on to move forward, to manifest the life that you want. So let it still be a little bit exploratory because this is Gemini, right? We are going to have two ways about it at least. And move forward from that perspective. And because Mercury is in your 9th house, and Mercury is part of the thing that has the Mars retrograde story in it and this Mercury retrograde story, really think about a few things. One of them is consider foreigners and foreign travel, consider the contracts, the legally binding contracts that you're a part of, and how those play into your resources. And if you're into astrology is a 9th house thing. So there could be something about that story too. Hey there, Gemini and Gemini rising. This Mars retrograde cycle is all about your first house. It's about your sun. It's about your identity. It's how you show up in the world. It's asking you to make some changes. It's asking you, how do you want to show up in the world? How do you want to present? What do you want to look like? Do you want your hair to be red or green or blonde or brown? What kind of clothes do you want to wear? All of these portray an image. And deeper than that, what kind of steps do you want to take? Now, this story of Mars, it's really about change, and it's about giving you energy to change. And when it's in your first house, you're going to feel it. And it might feel agitating, but right now, you're going to have more momentum to move forward, to make changes than other times in your life. It's a 2-year thing. So every 2 years, Mars comes back to you. So it's setting up for the next 2 years. This is a push-pull between your personal identity and then those things that you share with others. So Mercury is in your 8th house, part of this story because Mercury rules Gemini, in your 8th house of shared resources. So think about this story as revamping yourself, revamping who you are, how you want to show up, what you want to look like, and how those things matter or don't matter in different ways, and how your story is also part of a story of you in your relationships. And what are those things you want to share? And what are those things that are yours alone? Hi, dear Cancer and Cancer rising. This Mars retrograde has been emotionally turbulent. It's happening in your 12th house. So there's just stuff there by nature of it being the 12th house that is hidden from you. It's stuff that you can't see about yourself or that you can't see easily. So some of the positive ways this could manifest is for you to really pull yourself into the joy of solitude and experiment with the joy of solitude. So what does it mean to do something alone? What does it mean to meditate? What does it mean to just really come face to face with yourself? This doesn't have to be a scary thing. And I encourage you to test those things out. Just lean in to your own resources, to your own self. While you're at it, recognize that Mercury is in your 7th house right now. So when it goes direct, there is a story. There's something to do with your partnerships. So these might be romantic partnerships, or these might be business partnerships. This is something that you negotiated with people in some way, whether it's written, spoken, or just kind of felt, that there's some kind of sharedness that you have with these people. So you're in a really great position to turn both to your relationships for support and to nurture others, but to also take that time for yourself. This Mars retrograde is shaking you up a little bit, and there might be some things that come out that aren't so pretty, and that's okay. So just take every day one step at a time and do what you got to do to be you. Hey, Leo and Leo rising, you're so bright. You're the sun, right? So you're gonna express. Mars is friendly to you. It's fiery. The retrograde cycle might have been a little challenging, particularly when it comes to your networks, your friends, those things that you can pull on to help you, and the ways in which you can also help those networks grow. This is about your ideals. It's about what you cherish. It's about what's important to you. And this has been asking you to revamp that, to think about it, right? Like, what really is important to you? Put energy into that. And learning to balance the shine of yourself and allowing other people to shine. And that's where those networks really come into play, because you can use that to really help you build both sides of the coin. And right, it's Gemini, so there's more than one thing going on here. So you might have both of those stories, or you might have different stories about different things going on. Just stay strong in the pursuit and not so much in exactly what you think you have to do. Mars going direct is going to help you. It's going to help you take action. And you might have a little more clear idea. But I want to warn you, because that Mercury retrograde right now, and when it goes direct, is in your 6th house. So this is the house of your day-to-day, and it can feel a little bit like you're working a lot. So just notice, once again, how much energy you're putting into stuff, and find that balance for your health, for your mental and physical health. So do this in a way where you can support others, you can support yourself, but you're not overdoing it. This is a Leo thing. It's a really easy thing for Leo to do, because you just want to be as bright as possible. Hey, Virgo and Virgo rising, you might say God is in the details, and you're Mercury ruled, and this Mars retrograde cycle is shaking up that Mercury. Mars is in your 10th house of career. So this is really about those themes of how you express yourself, what your greater calling is, as well as your day-to-day work life. Because Mercury is in your 6th house, and that Mercury retrograde is asking you to revamp that, to take a look at what are the most efficient and productive ways that you can structure your daily life. And your health, the food you eat, your exercise, all of those are questions coming up right now. You're likely to have some opportunities in the career sector. So learning to discern which ones to grasp onto, which ones to put energy into, and which ones to just let be, that's part of your story. More importantly though, Virgo, it's really about exploration. So there was exploration during the retrograde phase, and you can start to take a little bit more of a forward movement, but don't let yourself be taken in by this idea that you can stop exploring. You got to communicate. You got to build those networks. You got to talk to people. You've got to take advantage of this Mars energy that is allowing you to be seen, that's helping you to be seen. in your 10th house, in your career, and really building what it is you want, what it is you need in those areas. Hey, Libra and Libra rising. Wow, I wouldn't be surprised if you're learning some astrology right now, because that Mars retrograde and that Mars direct, that Mars in Gemini is in your 9th house. And well, that's one of the things the 9th house is about. It might not be astrology at all. It might be that you found a new career path and you need some education to get yourself there. This is a perfect time to be thinking about higher education and also what you can learn from other cultures and peoples. These are 9th house themes. And if you've got a trip planned or you're thinking about one, it's a good time to go. Just when you do that, know that Mars can shake things up. So it's not necessarily a calm sort of trip, like where you're relaxing. It's a trip where you're learning things and you're meeting people and you're using your ability to really connect, that Libran ability to talk to different kinds of people and learn from different kinds of people. That might not always be comfortable, but it's enlightening. So all of this is going to help you move forward. And there is something to be said about also because Mercury, that Mercury retrograde that's coming direct, is in your 4th house of home. So your home life is playing into this somehow. It might be your physical home. It might be the actual home you live in that will require either conversations with other people or a rethinking about what you want that to look like yourself if you live alone, and then creating that home that you want. Or it might be a more metaphorical kind of home. So rather than the physical place, that sense of home, what makes you feel grounded, what makes you feel nurtured, what is that you can carry around with you that is always yours? Scorpio and Scorpio rising, your Mars ruled. So this Mars retrograde, wherever Mars is, it tells a story about you. Gemini, Mars in Gemini is in your 8th house. So this is really, 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 really deep for you. This is a time to look at those things you share with other people. And heck, let's start out with the metaphysical, the metaphorical. What are the things that you can't touch so much, like a book or a car, that you share? And how do you share those? And what do you want that to look like? You're exploring this right now. So if you have romantic partners or business partners, those two in particular, have some conversations, have some activities where you can learn about each other and what you want that to look like moving forward. If you don't have those partnerships, sit down with yourself and really make the steps to move forward in the way that you want to move forward, and think about what kind of partnerships you want to be creating with people. Conversations, writing, all those things where you're communicating can be really beneficial. So I encourage you to actually reach out to people and communicate with them, but also to do some work with yourself, like journaling or posting on social media. It's an exercise and it's an exploration. And you as a Scorpio are going to have some really deep insights from that. And then that Mercury retrograde is going to happen in your 3rd house, which is another reason I'm telling you to work on that communication. It's all going to help you to understand what do you want to share with people metaphorically, and what are those actual physical resources that you want to share? Do you want to combine a bank account with someone? Do you want to have sex with someone? And what is that going to look like? Hey there, Sag and Sag rising. You're in a risk-taking phase and it's kind of exciting Aries, Jupiter in your 5th house. You love this, right? You love that play and that exploration. And it's playing a part of the story that Mars retrograde is attached to right now. That's because Mars is in your 7th house of relationships. So that play, your need for play, is a part of how your exploration is happening. But you're toying around with what you want your long-term relationships to look like. These could be romantic, these could be business. So this story is happening within you right now, and it's also happening with your partnerships. Allow yourself to explore and also start moving forward in the way that you want these things to look like in the future. There is definitely something here that has to do with your resources and your partner's resources and what you want to put into both of those and what they're putting into yours and what you want that to look like, because that Mercury retrograde is in your 2nd house of your resources. And when it goes direct, it's going to be more of a question of what you want to create and how that other person or people are playing into it. So let yourself be your big, bold self, take your risks, but really, really turn to that communication piece. Make sure everyone involved is clear and honest about what they want, what their motivations are, and how you're going to move forward, how you're going to collaborate. Hey there, Capricorn and Capricorn rising. You have a solidity about you that people notice. It's like something they feel they can predict or rely on sometimes. What they don't always know is that you're actually kind of flexible and playful with your daily routine. And what I mean by that is that you have an ability to pivot and change and to take input and information from different sources. And this is what actually allows you to build those strong structures. You have Gemini in the 6th house. The 6th house is about your daily routine. And so with Mars there, you have been going through it. Like, how do you want things to look? What are the people involved? What are the technologies involved, and how are those going to play out? Another thing to add is this isn't just about your work life. This is about from the time you get up to the time you go to bed, and maybe even a little bit of that time as well. It's about the structure of it. It's about, what do you eat? How do you sleep? What kind of exercise do you get? And how do those influence each other? And how do those either help you or hinder you when it comes to reaching your goals? This story right now has a lot to do with the way that you present. And it's going to be going through either your 1st house or touching on your sun. So there's something to do with your identity. Mercury retrograde is in Capricorn. And so when it goes direct, you'll be able to move forward a little bit more clearly and communicate a little bit more clearly and to change and to pivot those things about yourself that you want to. Do you want your public perception to be a little different? Do you want to do things not quite in the same way that you've always done them? Do you want to wear clothes that are a little different? All of these are playing into the story. And it's not that you have to make major changes. It's really more about asking the questions. Hey there, Aquarius and Aquarius rising. Okay, so you've been going through it for the past 2.5 years. Saturn in your sign, changing up how you perceive of yourself, what you want to be, what you want to do, giving you some major challenges maybe. This Mars though, this Mars is in your 5th house, and that's Gemini. And this is all about risk taking. And because of you, because of Aquarius, I see there being some calculated risks here, some ways in which you see the world and which you have taken the time to change your ideas and then move forward, because Mars is about action. So these are both the little steps that are going to build something, and they're the ones that are really just about experience, about fun and play. So use your ability to communicate and to see different people and to bring out that spark in other people, that thing that makes them feel close to you. Use that and communicate what it is you're about and what your intentions are, and ask them to explore with you. This Mars direct is going to help you to initiate a little bit more action towards what you want to do and what you want to be. And part of that is playful, at least while Mars is here. So let yourself feel that out. And if there is some heaviness and there is some solitariness while this Mercury is traversing your 12th house, that's a part of the story. So let yourself balance that solitude or even that pain with some fun. Hey there, Pisces and Pisces rising. This Mars story, this Mars and Gemini story, is happening in your 4th house. This is the house of your home. So let's start out with the obvious, your physical home. What are the objects? What are the people? What are the animals? What are all the things in your home? And what are the ones you want to be in your home? So this is the perfect time to get rid of some things, to buy some things, but really in accordance with how you want your home to look. And then conversations, important conversations with the people who are in your home about what you want that to look like as well and how that involves them. So you're creating. This is Gemini. So it's in flux. There's more than one thing going on and you're learning. And that Mars there, it might be agitating you a little bit, feeling like, oh my God, I have to act now or I've got to do something. There is some time. It's really more about the communication piece. So take the steps and the rest will kind of fall into place. With that, because Mercury is in your 11th house, so this Mercury retrograde cycle tied to the Mars is also about your ideals and how those play into your home life and what you want that to look like. How do those work together, and how can you call in your friendships and your networks to help you manifest those ideals? When we talk about home, we're not just talking about the physical space, the physical things in it, the relationships. We're also talking about those deep, deep things, those roots, those things that make you who you are, those things that you can come back to and realize that's my home, that's my real home.